Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're back with more Star Citizen lore. If you're new channel, welcome. I know I've been I really fell into a rabbit hole with Helldivers 2, but still, Star Citizen was always something that was appearing in the back of my head, and I was thinking like, yo, we gotta go get back into it. But anyways, this is another video by TheAstroHistorian. So shout out and credit goes to TheAstroHistorian. And what really surprised me was TheAstroHistorian actually commented on one of the videos that I saw from him. It was the complete history of Star Citizen, like humans developing hyperspace. I forgot what it was called, like quantum drive, and just like colonizing on different systems and discovering different systems. He commented on that video, which like blew my mind that the original content creator and author of the channel would actually reach out like that. But anyways, this one is called the capital ships of the UEE Navy Squadron 42 lore. Now, when I saw the Squadron 42 gameplay video, that was great. I mean, I was hooked. I can't wait for the game. And also, a lot of you guys have been very supportive in the Star Citizen content. And so far, the community hasn't been like toxic or anything. I say the most toxic community I've encountered so far would maybe be... it's a little hard to say because I want to say toxic, but so far received the most amount of negative comments and here and there. No, never mind. They're pretty much balanced out on a little bit, but I mean, there's always going to be those people. But I'm really curious to see the capital ships of the UEE Navy, because I remember in Squadron 42 gameplay video, you played as like a gunner on one of the turrets on one of the big capital ships. So we're going to be learning more about those ships. So without anything else, let's just jump right into it.
My name is Paul Shelley, and welcome to the AstroHistorian.
I think one of them is the Polaris.
This is a channel dedicated to
Idris.
exploring and explaining the lore of sci-fi and space universes and discussing their impact. Today we'll be looking at the universe of Squadron 42 and the big guns of the UEE Navy, the capital class vessels of humanity. First of all, note that this is going to be a general overview as it is a game in development, so the stats listed here will likely change between the making of this video and their eventual release, which means I'll probably go over this again in the future as more information is revealed. Evergreen content, baby. I have covered many of these ships before in standalone episodes, which I will also link when talking about said ship for those interested. Let's start with the smallest of the capital ships of the UEE, the torpedo corvette known as the RSI Polaris.
There it is, the Polaris.
The Polaris is one of the latest capital ships of the UEE Navy, having been greenlit in the aftermath of the attack on Vega 2 and the start of the Vandal War in...
By the way, when I reacted to the Polaris, the tour inside the ship, and also the architect reviews video, so far it has been very popular. You guys are really interested in the ship and saying like it takes a lot of people to crew this, and you guys have like your own group of friends and squad to like crew it. So I mean, I didn't realize how popular the Polaris was
in 2945. As a result, it doesn't have much history. What we do know is that for its relatively small 155 meter length, it packs quite the punch at the fraction of the cost of its larger cousins. It's armed with 6 size 4 turrets,
in comparison, it would be small.
5 manned and 1 remote, a size 5 turret, 32 size 3 missiles, and up to 38 size 10 capital killer torpedoes. All of this firepower is wrapped up in a sleek and fast frame, with 2 main and 4 auxiliary thrusters powered by a capital class power plant, which runs the length of the ship. On top of that, it can even support a single fighter for everything from force multiplication to survey capabilities. The ship's main purpose was to have an impressive firepower with a very small crew complement requirements, 6 to 14 at the time of this writing, thus reducing the cost of patrolling systems internally to aid local security, militia, or the advocacy in keeping the peace, while also allowing for a swift torpedo boat to be able to hold its own against Vandal fighters and subcaps while taking on larger targets. It is more than likely that the Polaris will act as a forward screen, augmented by patrol and gunships like the Hammerhead and the Perseus to help clear out smaller cap and subcap ships while serving in fleets. However, it's clear this ship's main job is, and will likely remain, homeland defense. The next ship is the Aegis Idris frigate. At 242 meters long, it sits almost 100 meters longer than the Polaris, and is the oldest designed capital ship still serving in the UEE Navy. The first generation of Idris was built in 2551, less than a decade after the end of the first interstellar conflict known as the First Tavaran War. Initially a corvette, it grew to the size of a frigate as its role was fleshed out in the post-war period, more specifically to help keep the peace in the now sprawling empire humanity found itself controlling. That meant its crew size.
I'm sorry for pausing, guys. This is a little off topic, but a lot of you guys have been asking me, do I have interest in playing Star Citizen at all? Trust me, guys, I do. But the thing is, I think it's equipment-wise and the fact that I'm playing 2 different games right now, Assassin's Creed and Helldivers 2. So that's why. But since Star Citizen is something I do have on my schedule, on my mind. But the thing is, this isn't really the best environment to play it in with my schedule here and there, because when I see Star Citizen 2, I mixed Star Citizen with Helldivers 2. Never mind. When I see Star Citizen videos, it's one of those videos that look like games that it looks like if you play for a long time continuously, like maybe a few hours, that's where it's really entertaining. But if you just play 1 hour or 2 hours long, then it's not going to really be as entertaining, in my opinion, from what I've been viewing. So I want to first finish the training that I have here, and when I have a more solid roots, so to speak, like after training, I'm at a station where I'm going to be there for a lot longer, and I know my schedule a little bit better, then I was thinking about jumping to Star Citizen. So I know that's some ways to go, but I hope you guys are still patient with that, and hope you guys are looking forward to it, because like I said, I am very interested in playing Star Citizen.
Had to grow with it, where today it sits anywhere from 8 to 28 crew members to fully crew, with active duty UEE Idris class ships
8 to 12 members, yeah, that's right.
Crews over 80 usually. The standard Idris today is bristling with firepower.
Idris.
With a missile launcher capable of hurling 10 size 5 missiles, 7 man turrets with 12 size 5 and 2 size 7 mounts, and a devastating bespoke Hurston Dynamics size 10 destroyer mass driver cannon. This makes the Idris a fearsome opponent, as it can take on enemies of just about any size and stand a chance in a brawl. Adding to its range and impressive capabilities is its through-and-through hangar, able to hold up to 3 fighters and an additional snub hangar for the Argo MPUV platform of ships. You'll find most Idris-class vessels operating on their own, patrolling the interior of the UEE, or supporting the standard battle groups, which...
Yeah, I mean, with the size like that and able to hold that many fighters and cargo ships and its logistic capabilities, it would be able to sustain on its own and patrol on its own. But the thing is, if it's on its own, then it is a lone target. I mean, sure, maybe the defenses are pretty good, but it could still be overwhelmed no matter how good the defenses are and things like that. So, but if patrolling alone is like its last option, then I do understand, and at least it has a good chance.
Dot the UEE space. One of the more notable Idris-class ships is the UES Stanton, which is the main setting for Squadron 42.
Stanton. Oh yeah, that's right. The name sounds familiar.
The ship
I was
has
like,
also begun to
where did that come from?
Age, and rumors of the Idris beginning to be retired are abound, likely to be replaced with the Polaris corvette. The next ship in the fleet is the Aegis Dynamics Javelin destroyer. Sitting at 480 meters long, the Javelin is twice the size of the Idris, and as a result, sits comfortably in the middle of the size of capital ship range of the UEE. Designed in 2690, it is the second oldest capital ship design in the fleet, but, unlike the Idris, is still very much active and used due to the nature of its modular design. You see, when the ship was first being built, it was envisioned
I really
as a
do
means
like
to
the designs of all the ships, by the way.
multiple missing roles in the fleet, including convoy raider, convoy defense, search and rescue, fleet ops, orbital bombardment, and more. Thus, it was designed to be flexible, with its mix-and-match modular design to allow for individual destroyers the ability to swap roles literally on the fly. Because of all of this, it was also designed to be faster than the typical capitals of its time, while also sporting impressive firepower. Speaking of its impressive firepower, it comes standard with 32 size 12 torpedoes, 13-man turrets with a combination of twin size 7 cannons for larger targets and size 4 Gatlings for smaller targets, and its main armament are 2 quad size 9 turrets which are remotely controlled. It even has a fighter bay capable of launching and recovering larger ships like the Aegis Vanguard heavy fighter. All in all, the larger size and more impressive armament of the Javelin make it the more desired combat ship of the UEE Navy over the Idris, meaning it often accompanies one or more Idris frigates into hostile zones when the UEE Navy feels it needs to have a suitable show of force, but for the fraction of the cost of sending an entire battle group. However, it has some drawbacks compared to the smaller ships of the fleet. Because of its size and weapons placement, the Javelin is not intended nor fitted to be able to land and take off from most atmospheres, unlike both the Polaris and the Idris,
so that's an issue.
Meaning it has to be refitted and repaired exclusively at specialized stations in vacuum. Its crew complement is also
that's a limitation.
with the crew size of 12 to 80.
Big bennies.
Likely not counting multiple shifts, which would put the crew size around 160 typically, much higher than both smaller capital ships. Because of all these factors, Javelins are found in a variety of roles like system defense, patrol, rapid response, and serving as transport and carrier escorts, though often in smaller numbers than the Idris-class ships. One of the more famous Javelins in game is the UES Warhammer, currently stationed at Imperial Naval Station Jericho in the Stanton system.
Javelin.
The Warhammer famously took part in the fall of Caliban, where it fired its weapons for so long to keep the Vandal at bay while ensuring the evacuation of civilians that gunners reported their sweat was instantly evaporating. The heat buildup of the fight was actually so intense that it warped the superstructure of the ship, resulting in future upgrades to improve the heat management of the Javelin-class ships.
Dude, that's crazy.
Another important Javelin is the UES Gauntlet, a ship your character serves on in the story of Squadron 42, and is present at the Battle of Vega 2. The next class of ship is actually a bit of a mystery. We have seen two versions of this ship in footage for Squadron 42, one looking like a cruiser or battle cruiser, and the other one that looks like an escort carrier. Both seem to be derived from the Bengal class carrier, which we will discuss later, but are smaller in size. We know of the UES Integrity in recent lore, which is classified as a cruiser and was active at the Battle of Vega. Thus, for the lack of a better name, we'll call this ship the RSI Integrity class cruiser. From what we can see, it's similar in design to the Bengal, but smaller, replacing the flight decks for what look like 3 separate size 12 bearing shipbuster railgun turrets. These railguns are some of the most devastating weapons humanity has ever created, capable of firing super dense projectiles at incredible speeds. Each individual railgun is said to be capable of coring a cruiser with a single shot. That would make the Integrity class one of the most dangerous capital ships active in the UEE Navy, likely capable of taking on most capital ships we know of in the game's universe. The other mystery ship doesn't have any references in lore, though some have suspected it to be the new and improved Pegasus escort carrier.
The Pegasus.
That the old design of the Pegasus is still canon, though, and possibly still in service. So this is likely a brand new carrier.
I mean, I'm sure we'll dive more into the mystery ships when the game comes out, or when AstroHistorian gathers more information.
But is also likely classified as an escort carrier, which can be confusing since that's also what the Pegasus is. From what we can see, it seems to lack a lot of firepower of its twin cruiser variant, though it's also built off the design of the Bengal and contains at least one sort of runway hangar area. With that said, let's look at the other RSI escort carrier in the UEE Navy, the Pegasus class. This ship is described as the Empire's premier small carrier, capable of supporting operations of up to 32 starfighters far from supply lines. Typically, it will accommodate 16
it's
Hornets
really
and
long
16
too,
Gladiators,
just by the looks of it.
But the fighter groups can be tailored to missions as demanded. In addition to the fighters, there are also 2 Argo MPUVs. It seems to have 8 turrets similar to the Javelin, making them twin size 7s with additional twin size 4 Gatlings for smaller targets. The Pegasus is sometimes used as a command center for a flight squadron, Its repair bays and accommodations are able to support those on board during long-term missions. In addition to providing protective escort for ship convoys, Pegasuses are used for fighter transportation, fleet support, and hunter-killer missions. The only Pegasus known to exist is the UEES Chimera, a ship Randall Graves served on when he was in the UEE Navy. Next, we'll talk about the Queen of the Fleet, the mighty fleet carrier, the RSI Bengal. Sitting at almost a kilometer in length, with a crew of at least 476, this behemoth of the UEE Navy is the centerpiece of almost every fleet.
Is this the one that Gary Oldman was on?
A dual role as carrier, with its support of multiple squadrons of fighters and bombers, including being capable of carrying the large, heavy Aegis Retaliator bombers, and battleship, with its
carry a lot
of size 12 bearing shipbuster railguns, alongside over 50 manned and remote turrets ranging from size 6 to size 9. It has 2 whole decks dedicated to just storing and launching smaller craft, with enough space to park an Idris inside, though the entrance to this
deck is large enough
to allow the Idris to get in. These ships are almost always commanded by some version of admiral, and act as the anchor to most battle groups and larger fleets. Thus, there are much fewer in number than any of the other capital ships in the UEE Navy.
Yeah, makes sense.
Except for one.
I mean, can you imagine? Because the size of that thing and how much it can carry, even including an Idris, it would cost a lot. It would cost so much to not just build one, but to maintain it. A lot of people to crew it and things like that. But it would be very effective. So having a few of them does make sense. Having them like a flagship because of the cost and maintenance. But if there were a lot of them and we had enough people and money for it, then the UEE Navy is pretty much set.
The final and largest ship in the UEE Navy is the mighty Retribution class super dreadnought. At almost 3 kilometers in length,
this is new to me.
It is one of the largest ships in the known universe. In fact, it's larger than most terraforming platforms that we've seen thus far. While its full armament
is that the Idris right next to it?
Classified, observations of the ship indicate that it likely has 14 size 12 shipbusters, along with likely over 100 smaller weapons batteries, and a curious front that may be an even larger main gun built into the superstructure of the ship itself. The Retribution began life as Project Wadim, before the start of the Vandal War under strict secrecy. Due to financial problems, the construction of the ship was initially delayed, though in 2943
it's always a financial issue.
Was almost completed. After the Battle of Vega in 2945, rumors began to swirl in the media about a reported kingship killer being made by multiple ship manufacturers working together. Sometime in 2946, the ship was officially announced and assigned to the 65th Battle Group and participated in the Battle of Oberon, though it didn't see much, if any, conflict. The Retribution seems to be the culmination of UEE's study of Vandal ships and culture to build a ship specifically to counter the feared Vandal kingship. It is the unrivaled empress of the fleet, though has yet to see pitched combat against the Vandal. When it does, it's clear its main role is to tackle the heavy Vandal kingships in order to annihilate it and cause the remaining Vandal to flee or become disorganized.
It's been a while since I've seen the Squadron 42 gameplay video, but seeing some of this does come back to me. But I do remember the big Vandal ship and like its purple pinkish laser that was like able to take out cruisers here and there. So it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, by the looks of this ship, this thing looked like it would be able to rival against that big capital ship that the Vandal had.
Like any fleet, each of the capital ships of the UEE Navy have their role to play. Most perform them well, though a few are beginning to show their age. Still, each one continues to serve admirably in the current struggle against the Vandal and other more human belligerents, acting as the tip of the sword and the bulwark of the shield of humanity in the 30th century. I'd like to thank you for watching.
Okay, it looks like that's it.
Please hit that follow button, subscribe for more content, and hit that little bell icon to be notified when these release. I'd also like to thank those on screen now for supporting the channel financially. If you want to throw in a few credits, think about becoming a member on YouTube. And if you want a bit more for your contributions, join the Ko-fi or Patreon. Patreons and Ko-fi members get early
Kofi. I never heard of Kofi, but I know what Patreon is.
Including exclusive early access to my long-running Complete History of Star Citizen lore series. Check those out now in the top right if you want to know what you're getting. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on this and any other lore topics in the comments below. And as always, remember, ex Historia ad Astra.
Another great video by AstroHistorian. So like I said, shout out and credit goes to AstroHistorian for another great video. So really diving into what each of the cruiser's role is and like their capabilities and what their limitations are is like really great. But however, he did mention there are a few ships that are a mystery, like we don't know much about them, but I'm pretty sure we will learn a lot more about them when the game comes out, or somehow AstroHistorian managed to gather more information. But either way, the Polaris, the Idris, the Javelin, and everything, I did react to many of those ships from the architect reviews by morphologists, but I don't think I reacted to the big super cruiser frigate there at the end, the Retribution. I don't know if there is a video, but if there is, I'm gonna have to take a look into it. But either way, this is really great, and I really enjoyed it. So hope you guys really enjoyed this video of Star Citizen. So that's all I got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop more videos. And again, shout out and credit goes to the AstroHistorian for another great video. Make sure to go check out his channel and see what he has there, because he has a lot. I've been reacting to his Star Citizen videos and his Helldivers 2 videos, and he does a lot more. I'm pretty sure he has Warhammer 40k, and I really have to jump back into that as well. But like I said, show a lot of support for the channel, because he's doing an amazing job and he's growing as well. So like I said, credit goes to him. And also, speaking of credit, shout out and credit goes to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. You guys are the reason why this channel keeps on going. So thank you so much for that. So without anything else, I'll see you guys next time.